Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. It's Nancy here from American Pet Professionals, and you are tuning in to our 14th episode of Digging into the Pet Industry. So every week we bring you a new guest from the pet industry where we jump in and talk about their product, their service, their business, and how they got into the pet industry. And we're streaming live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So wherever you're watching from, thank you so much for being here. And today I'm so excited to introduce you to our next guest, Chisholm Weaver of Blue Standard Inc. and the BetterBone. Hey Chisholm, how are you?
Good, Nancy. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
So Chisholm, we jump right in here on digging into the pet industry. So we're going to do that. So let's start with how you entered into the pet industry. If you want to give us a little bit of background about Blue Standard first, that would be great.
Sure. Yeah. So Blue Standard really is based on about 25 years of sustainable manufacturing. That's really our wheelhouse and our background is creating products through sustainable supply chains and responsible supply chains. And effectively, we help large brands on our B2B side of the business. And during the pandemic, a lot of what we do on the B2B side it didn't have anything to do with the pet industry, but we had some really neat materials that we were working with. And everything kind of came to a halt, obviously, for everybody during the pandemic. And we ended up kind of looking at what we had as far as materials and what we could kind of do with them, some fun projects while we were all kind of twiddling our thumbs. We ended up having a conversation with one of the guys at our labs who we do make various products with, and he's feeding his dogs some of these products that we made. They actually children's toys have been made out of various types of this material, clothing hangers, everything. He was giving his dog actually a clothing hanger
Oh God.
on the call, and he's got 5 dogs there, and he's like, oh no, like they've been chewing on this material for 10, 15 years. And so we kind of got an idea of like, okay, well, let's look at the formulation. Let's see what this, maybe why the dogs love it. We ended up making a mold and made 2 sizes and started, pushing it out to friends and family. And dogs ended up loving it. It has a lot of great qualities, like it's splinter resistant, it's hypoallergenic, it's completely natural. And so it had all these great qualities, and we decided, hey, let's turn this into a little bit of a business. And we came up with the BetterBone, and here we are. Now I'm talking.
That's awesome. Yeah, I met you when you first started with the BetterBone. I know we fielded a lot of questions and back and forth, and it's really come a long way. It looks fantastic. So I'm really excited for you with where you're going with it. When did you officially launch and start selling? After I know there's so much that goes into producing a product, right, and bringing it to life.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the big things that we have actually learned from. This is our first direct-to-consumer product, and I think we got a bit out over our skis. We started selling, I think it's 20 months ago now. I think it's a year and 8 months. So
Okay.
that puts us right around January of 2021. I think is when we actually founded the company, and then we were live with sales because we had the product for a good 6 months, refining it in its original, which you still can get. That's the original BetterBone. Trying to come up with retail packaging, that was fun. But yeah, really about 2 months after that. So March of 2021, we went live on the web. And then
Wow.
so it's been a crazy ride till here, but we're excited for the next.
Yeah, that's so cool. Wow. I feel like it's been longer than that. Right.
You're not the only one.
I know. And just like even coming up with, I happen to have show and tell, even coming up with like the new hanging and making sure it's durable to hang in store, like every last little thing people don't always think about when you're coming up with a product design, not just the product itself, right? The marketing, the labeling, all the things. So that must have been a hurdle for you. What would you say was the biggest hurdle for you guys?
Yeah, branding has actually been the biggest hurdle for us. I think the product speaks for itself and performs for itself. I'm more of a nuts and bolts type guy. Nobody in the business is really super it has a really good marketing background or prowess, but what we do have is a drive to make really high quality products. And so that's been our shortcoming. And so we kind of took a breath over the last six to 8 months, improved the product line, introduced a couple new versions of the bone, and spent the money where it needed to be, which is in the branding and the packaging and what you actually see on the shelf. It's one thing to have a product, but everybody needs a brand now. We have a great story with the sustainability, but how do you convey that? How do you catch somebody's attention to even give your product a second look is kind of has been our biggest hurdle to get over. So.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people that launch products, regardless, unless, it's so hard to market it and have that clear and simple understanding of language. I mean, I fall to it myself. I feel like I'm editing myself in a lot of things, and it's just kind of the way it goes until you hit that groove and you find that really good, solution to that marketing product. And then you have to, remarket it as the years go on and have fun with it. So that's really cool that you are not really cool, but it's cool that you admitted that, because a lot of people won't admit and say like, oh, the marketing was so tough. So it is tough.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the BetterBone and exactly what it is? And I think we were chatting beforehand that you have a couple of different, a standard and a super chewer. So why don't you break it down for us a little bit?
Absolutely. Yeah. So at its core, it's 100% sustainable 2-ingredient bone. We do have a flavored bone, which I'll discuss at afterwards. But basically, we take wood cellulose from the food industry. So this is the same wood cellulose you're going to find in yogurt, how they add fiber to yogurt. It's also in some of your cheaper store-bought pre-shredded Parmesan cheese. You'll actually see it says wood cellulose. And so we actually take that and sugarcane oil and make a composite. And what we can do with that is we can actually adjust the density of the product while it's completely natural. Also, there is no sugar content in the bone. We do get that question a lot for diet.
Just the flavor.
Right. It doesn't really, we don't think it imparts flavor. I mean, every once in a while, the actual granulate that we use, I'll
taste it.
It actually has, it's got a little bit of a sweetness to it. But what that enabled us to do is the original bone was designed to really be safe on teeth. And also, so we came up with the density that was perfect for teeth safety. But another, big part of the material is that it's splinter resistant. It's also hypoallergenic. Because we source all of our material in Europe, predominantly Croatia and Germany, we manufacture in Croatia. We have to adhere to all of the stringent European manufacturing protocols, which means there's phthalates in this, there's no BPA, there's no nylon, PVC, carcinogens, mutagens, and you can keep going on. But there's
I love that.
Of chemicals that can't be in this, including more artificial colors, dyes, anything. So like when you actually get up close to the bone, you'll see the wood fiber in it.
Yeah.
Which we love. This is just the natural color of wood. We only use the trunk of the tree as well. That's how it's hypoallergenic, is that you're not having any of the bark. You're not getting any of the oils from the bark, the pine needles, cones, leaves, anything like that. So it's a really neat material. We actually developed it a long time ago for various other applications, and it just turned out to be a perfect complement, I think, for a dog bone. So, and then we started off with our softer version. Now, because of the market, because of a lot of the feedback of maybe it not lasting as long as what people traditionally buy and what people compare it to, which sometimes plastic bones, we've created a denser version. And basically all we did is we increased the wood content of the product, of the bone itself, to make it more compressively strong. So so those are lasting roughly 2 to 3 times longer and are a great comparison to what the industry standard typically is. Still a little bit softer than a plastic bone, so it's still a little bit safer on teeth. Still has the non-splintering aspect to it, so it'll flake off. We don't. It's responsible pet ownership, like we were discussing before. Where it's as your dog's chewing on it, just be aware how long they're chewing on it, because some dogs really enjoy it and they will try to treat it as a meal replacement, which it is not, of course.
Right. It's a treat, you guys. No, I get it. I mean, my dog has had a few over the last year plus, and he'll pick it up, play with it, and it flakes. And when he chews on it, if it flakes, he actually spits out all the flakes.
Yeah,
Even and I have a pit bull, so you would think that he would just like go crazy. And then sometimes he takes it and flops it around and is playing with it and chews on it. And it's really kind of funny. But every dog is different, right? And I think that's goes without saying with any kind of bone, or any kind of treat or anything. You just have to monitor your dog. It's not something you would put in their crate and close the crate door and leave. You know what I mean? So,
absolutely.
but yeah, he has never had an issue with it. It's flaked apart, just like on this the little bony parts that get in there and get his
Yeah,
little
hopefully.
grooves of his teeth.
Yeah, we're very proud of that, and that's a big thing for us. Is obviously the safety of your animal.
Yeah.
Along with it being all natural and not exposing your animal to any sort of weird chemicals as well. We're not trying to promote anything that would cause us blockages or anything like that.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
my parents' labs, they'll
Labs will eat anything.
they'll eat anything.
Yeah.
And they absolutely have no issues. And then we have our flavored bone that we've just developed, which is really neat. We're excited about, and they just keep going after that even more. So,
Wow. Yeah, I'm super picky about what my dog gets, and I've tested it out for, like I said, a while, and I've had some friends that have bought it because they've seen it on Cody's page and said that their dogs really liked it. So that's really cool. So, are you selling direct to consumer, online, or retail stores, or both?
right now we're doing both. So,
Okay.
like we discussed previously, we took a little bit of time to rebrand. Our initial packaging left a lot to be desired.
Right.
And it was kind of us flying blind and not knowing our shortcomings, and now we do. So to that point, we redeveloped all of our packaging. We really love everything about it now, and we're trying to get into retail. With all that said, so yes, we are selling online on our website at thebetterbone.com. We're on Etsy. We're on Amazon. We're on a few different platforms. We're actually going to be relaunching on Amazon because obviously we have more products now and we're rebranded. So
Right. Yeah. Well, now's the time, right, to jump in and
yeah.
hopefully get those retailers to pay attention for your product and everything. They being sold in any retailers overseas since it's made overseas?
So right now, basically, we were waiting on getting all the rebranding done because of just logistics over there. Seemed a little bit easier, but it's because of all the different countries. It was just like, okay, if we're going to do an online web-based, direct-to-consumer model over there, what is that going to take? So we actually kind of held off in doing that. I think we're now going. Amazon actually approached us to sell on their EU platform, which
Oh,
was very
okay.
because we're already on the American platform, and we've had some success. We're also learning from that as well. That's
Yeah.
a thing for us, and I don't think people under Amazon is a beast in
Yeah.
itself. But
I've heard.
yeah, Amazon actually approached us to be on their website, so they're actually helping us get involved
Oh, that's
in their
cool.
platform. Yeah, so the EU, I think we're going to take that route outside of going to the pet stores, going to retailers, because that's ultimately the goal. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And so, you guys have gotten a couple awards in the last year and this year as well. What were you awarded by?
yeah, Dogster awarded us pet toy of the year.
Oh, wow.
Was with us, I think, in two other bones. We won the Pet Innovation Award in 2021. There, hopefully, we win the 2022. I think that's supposed to come out here shortly with the flavored bones. But yeah, we're super excited about being winning those awards and being recognized as a product that those
Well,
public.
congratulations. That's a big milestone for a company that's only 18 months old and having a product. So that's a big deal.
Thank you.
And I know all those people over at Dogster, they're wonderful folks. So congratulations on that. So where do you see BetterBone in the future?
I think we continue to grow, and I think we get into more interesting shapes And we've had a lot of people ask us because, right, it's the size difference
Yeah.
is considerable, and so a lot of people have asked for a medium sized bone. Um, but since we make the molds, those things can be expensive. So we've really
Yeah.
just been growing and developing the material for a full line. So it's expanding the wishbone style and also expanding into other different fun shapes. We've also have leashes and collars that are to be released here within the next 6 weeks that are 100% ocean bound plastic, all fair trade. So we're going to add a line of sustainable leashes and collars. We're very excited about that. They're really
So cool.
marine rope style
Yeah.
to kind of signify what that plastic, where it's coming from. Also, because of how we flavor the flavored bones, where we actually take dry dog food, we further dehydrate it, crush it, and then add it to our composite. So the dog bone is actually 2% dog food by weight, which is a really neat feature. We can go all the way up to 15%, but then you can compromise the integrity of the material itself. But to us, that just is a licensing deal kind of waiting to happen with the right partner.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'd love to stick with somebody who's an all natural or GMO free type dog food. And yeah, expanding in those directions too. So that's kind of where we see ourselves, just expanding the line. And now that we have the right branding, going to retailers and really trying to drive home, hey, look, here's a more sustainable product for the market. So
Yeah, I love the focus of being sustainable, not having any all the things that you said before in the actual product, and having your recycled plastic or ocean plastic, which we know is a huge problem, right? And I'm on Long Island, you're in New York City, so unfortunately, you see that wherever you go. I kayak, you see plastic bottles in the water sometimes or whatever. So having that is really great. Is there any thing else that you would like to see, with that sustainability in mind with your business?
right now we are going through getting our B Corp. I'm
Okay.
putting together everything for that. So it's really just continuing to grow. We're looking into dog water bowls that would be made out of recycled fishing nets.
Wow.
Because of the nature of our B2B type business, we help develop products for other people. So now we're
Yeah.
taking a second look at, hey, what's in the pet industry and what can we improve upon. We have some really neat fabrics that are actually made out of that same ocean bound plastic. We have a great partner called Plastics for Change. You can find them at plasticsforchange.org. They're fantastic. You should check
Yeah.
them out. They have really high quality material that comes from underserved communities. And so really it's just trying to see what we can do with those partners in that supply chain to make some beautiful products that are, helping in every way they can. So really it's just expanding our line and even into cats. We're even looking into cats, different.
Don't forget the cats. They're a huge part of the pet industry.
Yeah, my brother apparently doesn't like cats, but he's got two now. So, he's like,
But now he does. Listen, I'm going to say this for anybody watching. Anybody that has never had a cat and said, I don't like cats, then they get a cat and they love cats. That's just always the case. Everybody that I've ever known that has no cats, they end up getting a cat and they're like big time cat aficionados. Yeah, yeah.
he's got two curs, and then
Oh,
he's
wow.
a burly guy with a big beard, and he's like, I don't like cats, and then all of a sudden a cat shows up at his. It's all right.
That is hilarious. Oh, man. I'm sure he's posting some cat videos now.
I'll have to send him this. I'm sure he'll
Yeah.
really enjoy as a cat person.
Too funny. And listen, no shame in the cat game, right? There's some big players out there now with the cat stuff. To tell him to check out Sterling and Nathan the cat lady. They're awesome. All right. So let me ask you this. What has been, besides the marketing, what has been a hard part of growing your business over the past couple of years?
Really just trying to react to the constructive feedback that you get from
Yeah.
the market. We, for all the virtues and great qualities we think that the product has, especially with the original density bone. We really love the fact that it is softer, but that's not necessarily what everybody wants. I mean, of course, you're not going to please everybody, so it's really trying to take that information that you get and kind of distill it down into, okay, what are actionable items? And that's been an interesting thing for us, because it's also, you're dealing with people's loved ones, their dogs.
Yeah.
I grew up, my dog was my brother, right? So they, my that's the way our family feels about it. So I
Yeah.
expect everyone else feels the same.
Yeah.
And so it's just trying to make sure that the product is as safe as possible, and also performs, because it is your hard-earned money, the way that you kind of want it to. So that's why we're trying to. That really helped us push into the denser bones.
Yeah.
And we're looking at a line of softer bones as well for older dogs and for teething puppies. We think the original is perfect for teething puppies, but sometimes we get a lot of feedback, because it'll take off with like one breed. We have
Yeah.
a group of Great Danes. Um, it's so
Yeah.
funny. This one great lady, she bought them for her Great Dane, and all of a sudden now she's trying to sell them in various things across the Midwest at these
Yeah.
Dane shows. And so,
You got your sales rep just because her dog loved it. That's so funny.
yeah, it's very cool. So just really trying to listen, and then react, obviously very quickly, but also with a reliable product, because testing these things, it takes time and it takes effort, and trying to react appropriately, I think, is probably our.
My next question for you is going to be, what is the most important thing when it comes to customer service? But I think you already answered it with the fact that you're listening to the feedback, adjusting your products, and doing all those things. Not to say other companies don't do that, but I think the fact that you're really invested in listening to your customers and your clients with the products and moving forward with different sizes is really commendable, because it's not always an easy thing, like you said, to make the smaller sizes, the different sizes. So I think it's really cool that you're doing that. So I commend you for that.
Thank you very much.
So let me ask you this: since you've been in the pet industry about 2 years now, technically, right? What's your favorite thing about the pet industry?
I mean, pictures of dogs, so without question. I mean, people, it's the best. People just
Yeah,
send me, my dog loves it. That's always kind of the icing on the cake with
that's
anything
cool.
we're doing here. So yeah, getting those great stories, or my dog, doesn't like anything else, and now they love your bone, and it's just, it just makes a lot of that hard work, all the more worth it. So
That's awesome. And you finally got to meet Cody back at the in March at the Family Pet Expo.
he's a character. I love it. He talks.
Yeah,
Quite
he talks, and he took the bone and started chewing on it like on cue, like he was getting paid to do it. It was hilarious.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get him in for a photo shoot.
Yeah, oh yeah,
We
definitely
need
would love that.
videography done with Cody. I love it.
with Cody's crazy
I'll
noises.
with the mic and ask him questions about the bone.
He just won some silly pet trick contest because he can wave and do all these things, but it was because he was making noise that somebody put the microphone next to him. It was hilarious. Oh my gosh. Only I could find a dog that talks more than me.
Great.
All right. So let me ask you this. What would you tell somebody that's thinking about starting a business in the pet industry? Somebody that's watching that's like brand new, has a great idea for a product. What would be your advice?
Sure. I think it's for me, coming in completely new, just being a dog lover, is just basically my perception of what I thought was, most beneficial or most important for, dog care and owning a dog isn't the same for everybody. And that's not to
Right.
say that they're wrong in any sense. Especially for a product like what we're doing. And that's all I can really speak for, is a product that they're actually going to be chewing on and have the possibility of consuming and stuff like that. Is just, really ensuring that you take the care and do the due diligence to make a product that's
Yeah.
safe, reliable, and that, people can trust. So that's where we try to be, and hopefully that would be my biggest, is take your time. We really
Yeah.
did this thing, you know, in your mind, you're like, oh, the next phone call is going to be it. We're gonna, and the
Yeah.
next phone call is like, hey, your packaging is terrible, and you're like, oh, okay,
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at
no,
that.
I'm laughing at myself, because
Yeah.
you don't know what you don't know, and just having a little bit of humility is always a good thing. So
Yeah, and I think that people see the headlines for the pet industry, right? Because nobody was paying as much attention now as they were 15 years ago, 10 years ago, to the industry. And now it's like people jump in and they expect, in 2, 3 years that they're going to have $1 billion product. And I'm like, okay, good luck with that.
Right.
There's definitely some people out there that take off a lot faster than others, but it takes time. And I love that you said do your due diligence and be patient, right?
Yeah.
Figure all that out.
And it's an industry just like any other that somebody's coming from. So there's
Yeah.
established relationships, there's products that people are super comfortable with, and so you just got to get out
Yeah.
there and educate also
Yeah.
about the products, because you don't know how many people buy this and they're like, they just start talking about plastic, and it's like it's not. So
Right.
it's just been an
Yeah.
interesting road, and you think you get the point across, and people have, they may be listening, they may not be, they
Right.
stuff
And
on.
honestly, that's for anybody that has any kind of product because that education is so important. I'm actually in the middle of a article that I'm writing about that because it's hard. Like if you go into a pet store and you ask for, hey, you don't have this, do you have something else? And a lot of times they don't know to tell you what they have, or if they do, they might not fully know it. Yeah, that's education, educating the retail owner, educating the pet parent. It's a lot of work doing all of that. And you just have to stick to it and keep going forward with it. And the more that you do it, the more that your message will get out there.
Absolutely.
I think it's a really good point that you made. So what is the best piece of advice that you have ever received?
Hmm. I think I think the patience. My business partner Don he's a very stoic guy. I'm a little bit more of a hair on fire type of person. So he, like, whenever he never gets too high, never gets too low, and I think that's super important. I've definitely learned a lot from his, kind of even keeled, because
Yeah.
with small business, as with all business, you just need one big win, and you can't get down on yourself when things aren't going exactly how you envision them in your mind, because you're the only one that can see that vision. So you
Right.
be kind of hold on to it tight, and just be patient. So
Yeah. That's good advice. It's very true. I like the hair on fire analogy. It's pretty funny, but it's true. As a small business owner, you could freak out over everything. I just talked to our members yesterday that are going to Super Zoom. Was like, everybody take a deep breath this week, breathe,
yes,
remember to relax because it's so stressful leading up to a show and stressful being at the show and all the things, and make sure that you're not freaking out because everything is going to go right, even if it's not the way you expected it to go. Like
yeah.
it's really because I was feeling stressed and I'm not even a vendor, so
The opportunities come from random places.
true.
To your point, like Super Zoo, we really wanted to be there, but we're just getting finished with the packaging and everything,
Yeah.
and it's like, let's take another breath. We'll hit,
Mhm.
Interzoo, and we'll hit Super Zoo next year with a
Yeah.
really refined, messaging, and we'll learn a lot here, especially as now we have the new products. You just roll
Yeah.
stuff out, and then all of a sudden you're just like, mumbling through some sort of pitch to a
Yeah.
retailer. You're like, all right, let's refine it. Let's take another breath, and hopefully come back next year and do what we set out to do. So
Yeah, and you'll be ready. You'll be more ready instead of stressed out about like, we're still waiting for this to come in and there's all different places that you could start with there, but
mm,
it's exciting for you to be at Interzoo. I know that's been an amazing show. I know a few people have gone to that, so that'll be a cool spot for you guys to be at. So let me ask you this. What is your daily non-negotiable that keeps you grounded as a business owner?
hmm. I mean, I have, I keep schedules. Just try not to be late to anything, and I have my morning routine. I think that's probably
Yeah.
the biggest thing for anybody.
Yeah.
Getting set up for the day, and having my morning routine, and kind of hit the ground running. Um, yeah, my calendar is pretty much non-negotiable. So
Yeah, there you go. I like that. I've done that for the last few years too. Makes life a lot easier.
yeah, it's other people's time, so it's very important. So
Yep, and scheduling and all of that stuff, it makes life much easier. So, is there anything else about BetterBone that I didn't ask you that you'd like to add that you want to tell us about?
I think we've covered The majority of it. Obviously we're just very excited to get the flavored version. A lot of people have been, asking about that, and the super
Yeah.
pure. We have a lot of people who, thankfully they understand the message, they understand what the product is about. They're like, hey, my dog just went through it a little too fast. So we're actually going live with those on the website either later today or tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Next call is with our web developer guy, so we're just trying to make sure that everything's straightened out, and the 3PL and all the other fun stuff that goes along with the business. So
Right. I know, never ends. Well,
yeah,
that's
sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say that's awesome. That's very cool. Good timing to
Yeah,
be on the show. We did not plan it, you guys.
we
We
didn't.
didn't.
It came together over the last 2 weeks, and the leashes and collars and all that fun stuff. I mean, we're going to expand. We've got another version of collars that we're going to bring out outside the marine rope. I know a lot of people have been waiting on those. So yeah, we're just excited to finally kind of have a full uh, line of products ready to go.
Yeah, that's so exciting. And you'll just keep building on that. I can't wait to see the leashes and collars. I know that you sent me a picture. They looked really pretty. So,
Yeah,
or handsome, whatever you want to say.
they look great. They look
The
pretty.
color, as soon as you said, I was like, oh, I love the color of the one that you sent me anyway. Well, listen, I'm really excited for the progress that you have made in the last 2 years, getting to know you and getting to see BetterBone and everything that you're doing. It's really cool. And where can people find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn, and pretty much, I run our Instagram and pretty much most of the social media. So any message there is typically going to me,
Okay.
just to make sure right information is still being given out. Yeah, it's typically where you can find me, or hello@thebetterbone.com. That's also an email directly to me. Uh,
Okay.
love to contact. Love to
Awesome.
keep in touch.
And what's the website? Betterbone.com?
It's thebetterbone.com.
Thebetterbone.com.
Yeah,
Okay. And when,
betterbone.com is about osteoporosis. It's been
oh,
it's
geez.
been fun trying to find it. They won't budge.
These don't have that problem. Awesome. So we put the links in the comment section for anybody that wants to connect with Chisholm and find out more information on the Better Bone. I would implore you guys to check it out. It's a really nice product. But Chisholm, I'm so glad that you were here today. And hopefully we'll get to see each other in person soon now that it's not 9,000 degrees outside, right?
Yeah, I would love that. I would love
Yeah.
that. We're looking at doing a few more of the shows out on Long Island
Oh,
here soon.
cool.
Hopefully, I get to see you then. And if you're ever in
Yeah.
this, always reach out.
Definitely. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you in September for our next episode of Digging into the Pet Industry. Thanks, Shazam. Take care.